Have you guys seen this Beyblade? Berserker Byakko 125S is a zero-G Beyblade that appeared in the anime and was supposed to get released. However, Takara Tomy scrapped the release last minute. So, if you haven't heard of this Beyblade or you have some questions on why it never got released, keep watching this video because I'm about to answer everything right now. Sup Bladers, it's Josh from basesupply.com, and today I'm going to be talking about Berserker Byakko and more importantly, why it never got an official Takara Tomy release. So before we get into everything, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes on this video. We did it last time, guys. I think we can do it again. So if you haven't, hit that like button. Now, let's talk about Berserker Byakko. So, what is this Beyblade? Well, Berserker Byakko is a Beyblade that appeared in the Zero-G anime during episode 20 and I believe also episode 21. These two episodes were part of the Zero-G Lost episodes, which we're going to talk about a little later in the video. I'm going to talk more about those Lost episodes, what that means, and why they're called the Lost episodes. But regardless, that's where Berserker Byakko made its debut. So, it's an Earth Synchron Beyblade that is an attack type, which is really weird considering that its combo is 125S. But the reason it's considered an attack type is mainly because of the Chrome Wheel Byakko, which was supposed to be really good for upper attack, similar to Drigger, which is what it's based off of. So, like I just said, it is based off of Drigger from the Plastic Generation. Both of these Beyblades are white tigers, and they both pay tribute to the white tiger of the West from the four holy beasts of the Chinese constellation. So I actually go in a lot more detail about the four holy beasts of the Chinese constellations. There are 5 total Beyblades that pay tribute to these holy beasts and also pay tribute to original Plastic Gen Beyblades. I talk about it in my Garago video, What is Garago? If you haven't seen it, you can watch it right up here. But yeah, in that video, I talk a lot more about that. But yeah, Berserker Byakko based on the White Tiger of the West from the four holy beasts of the Chinese constellations and is also based on Drigger. So pretty cool if you didn't know that. But yeah, let's talk about Berserker Byakko a little bit more and let's talk about its anime debut. So, its owner is Baiyu Zhao, and in the anime, Baiyu Zhao is a small member of DNA. So, you guys know DNA, the villain team in Zero-G or Shogun Steel. According to Team Garcia's, Baiyu was supposedly raised in the wilderness of China by a white tiger. So, Byakko in Japanese actually does mean white tiger. Pretty cool, like, you know, that's like his little storyline. He was raised by a white tiger supposedly, so, you know, it makes sense for that to be his Beyblade. And he also appears in episodes 20 and 21 of the anime, just like I said before. And in his anime arc, I'm not going to talk about the entire arc because it's pretty long. You probably have seen the episode, but if you haven't, really quickly, in the show, when he appears, he basically tricks Jinka into, like trying to help him. He says that someone stole my Beyblade, and Jinka, being a good guy, like comes and helps him. And he like leads Jinka into some cave or like a temple, I believe it was. I honestly can't remember, but it was like a temple, and Jinka sees some blader in there, so when he pulls out his Samurai Pegasus to battle this blader, he realizes it's missing, and that's because Baiyu actually robbed Jinka of his Samurai Pegasus, which is crazy. Yeah, this guy like literally just tricked Jinka and took his Samurai Pegasus, and he ended up giving Samurai Pegasus to Kira, who then used it to make the Synchron Beyblade Pegasus Bahamdia SP230 R2F. So again, you probably saw this episode, but that's pretty much where this guy comes from. After this little, you know, arc, we do see him battle with Berserker Byakko, so it looks really cool in the anime, the white tiger. It sucks we didn't get any tiger type of motif Beyblade in all of Metal Fight, except for this release in Zero-G. We didn't get it in Metal Fusion, Metal Masters, or Metal Fury, and I'm pretty sure that's because one of the main characters in the Plastic Generation was Drigger, which was a white tiger, so it wouldn't make sense to recreate something huge like that, you know, Beyblade. But since it did get released in Zero G, this white tiger motif, it did have to pay tribute to Drigger. So I said I talk about that in my Garago video, so if you haven't seen it, you can watch it. I linked it earlier, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So Berserker Byakko is really dope, super cool Beyblade. I love the colors, I love the white tiger, I love how it pays tribute to Drigger, and I love how it's, you know, the wheel looks like it's supposed to be good for upper attack. So Berserker Byakko, one of the coolest Beyblades ever. Now let's talk about some real stuff. Why wasn't it ever released? So when I talk about the answer, because there is a real answer, I know I do a lot of theory videos and speculations on my channel. This is the actual answer, though. There's no speculations here, so I'm about to tell you guys. But before I do that, I just want to mention that this answer isn't specifically for Berserker Byakko itself. Berserker Byakko also got scrapped with two other Beyblades that were also supposed to be released, and the other two Beyblades were Guardian Garudas as well as Phantom Fenrir. These three Beyblades did not get released, and the answer that I'm about to give is why all of them didn't get released. So Berserker Byakko was intended to be released in the beginning of 2013, along with Guardian Garudas and Phantom Fenrir, just like I said. However, all three of these Beyblades did get cancelled, and right now I'm going to tell you exactly why that is. So towards the end of Zero G, Beyblade sales in Japan were declining badly. And it wasn't even the end of Zero G. Actually, like, overall interest in Beyblade started dropping as soon as Zero G started. So Metal Fusion, huge success. Metal Masters, same success. Metal Fury, little bit, it went downhill. Again, these aren't my personal opinions. This is like toy sales of Beyblades in Japan at the time. I love Metal Fury. Metal Fury is my favorite season, but it was during Metal Fury that sales and interests just started declining, but only a little bit. Only a little bit. And that's why they decided to make Zero G and redefine the system. Now, by doing that, the interest went down a lot, you know, a lot. It dropped a lot. And as Zero G continued, sales and overall interest just kept progressively getting worse. As a result of this, the last 7 episodes of the Zero G anime were unaired in Japan. Now, this is the lost episodes that I was talking about earlier. These episodes, these last 7 episodes of the Zero G anime, we refer to them as the lost episodes. And I know you guys remember I just talked about that earlier in the video. So, these 7 episodes did not get aired in Japan. However, they did get aired in South Korea. So at the time, and again, you guys know that when the anime gets released in the US and Canada, it's usually around a year after it gets aired in Japan. So we ended up getting it, but at that time, like when they should have been released, nobody knew, you know, like what happened to these episodes. It was really weird. But a month or two later, they did get aired in South Korea. And then eventually, around a year later, they got released for the US and Canada in Shogun Steel. So, like I said, I watched Shogun Steel. I didn't watch anything being subbed. I watched the dub. I watched it as a kid on TV on Cartoon Network. So if you watched the Japanese like dub for all, if you watch the Japanese sub for all of this, you cannot find these episodes, these last 7 episodes. But I saw them because I saw the dub. I saw it in Shogun Steel, and they did get released for us. So yeah, anyways, since these lost episodes featured 3 new Beyblades, Berserker Byakko, Guardian Garudas, and Phantom Fenrir, since all these episodes that feature these Beyblades never aired in Japan, this also meant that the releases also got scrapped. So it wasn't just the episodes that got scrapped, it was also the releases. And what makes it even worse is that Takara Tomy had the renders and the models, like the physical models for the factory. They had all of this ready for these 3 new Beyblades. They were already made. But like I said earlier, since Zero G was performing very poorly in Japan, it led to Takara Tomy just scrapping the releases. And even though we got the episodes, we never really got the base. So as you know, technically the last 2 releases for Metal Fight Beyblade and Zero G obviously were Gladiator Bahamdia and Samurai Pegasus, which released in December of 2012. However, these 3 new Beyblades were supposed to release during the beginning of 2013. And, poor toy sales and interest declining in Beyblade basically, led them to be scrapped. So during the time, everyone was disappointed about this, but we still thought. I was around in the community too. This is like when I first really got into Beyblade and the community too, and I'm telling you, we all were disappointed, but we all still thought Hasbro would release Berserker Byakko as well as the other Beyblades, because at this time, when it got confirmed that all these releases got scrapped, Hasbro didn't release Shogun Steel yet. And with Takara Tomy already having the models and the renders for the factory of these Beyblades, we really all thought that Hasbro was going to release them when it was time for Shogun Steel to get released. But as you already know, Hasbro did not release them either. And these Beyblades, especially Berserker Byakko, we never got to actually have. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to Berserker Byakko. Damn, such a shame, really. But what's crazy though, side note, someone in the community, I think about a year or two ago, actually made a render out of scratch. They made their own 3D render of Byakko. Here's what it looks like, gonna include a picture here. Really interesting to see what this would have looked like in real life. I mean, you can obviously purchase this, but it's not gonna be the real thing. It's way too heavy. And the little specs and dimensions of the design are not accurate to what it actually would have looked like if it did get released, but obviously they're not going to be accurate, right? This person drew it from scratch, or not drew it, but created this model from scratch. So obviously it's not going to be the same, but it is really interesting to see this kind of model of Byakko. Really, really sad though that we didn't get Berserker Byakko. So that is the reason why it wasn't released. I'm going to say it again. The Metal Fight hype in Japan started dying when Zero G came out, and it got really, really bad towards the end of Zero G, that Takara Tomy was like, screw this, we have to end it right now, we're losing way too much money. And after scratching these releases, after getting rid of those, lost episodes, they pretty much put all their effort and energy into Burst. So this brings up the question that I have, what would be different in our current standard as well as Zero G Beyblade meta right now? Both of those formats, the meta would be so different, I feel like, if Berserker Byakko actually did get released. The one thing about the Beyblade meta is something like Y-Bang clearly overpowers the other chrome wheels. And if you know competitive, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's because of how viable it is as a chrome wheel and as a solid attacker. So even though there are other good alternative attackers like Balro, Gyarados, or even Bahamdia, they don't really stand a chance in comparison to Y-Bang because of the weight difference, Y-Bang being super, super heavy. It might actually be the heaviest chrome wheel, but I don't remember. But I think Y-Bang is actually the heaviest chrome wheel. So there's that. But also it's clear attack point, that one little groove that Y-Bang has. Also all the other grooves around the chrome wheel. Y-Bang is a crazy intense attacker. Hands down, the best attack type chrome wheel in the meta, right? So we know that. But if we got something like Byakko, do you guys think that would still apply? So that's a question I have for you guys. Me personally, I don't think if Byakko did get released, I don't think it would be able to outclass Y-Bang. I still think Y-Bang would be the best, but I do think that it would make some interesting synchron combinations and maybe some counters, Since Byakko was supposedly going to be a good for upper attack combos, I think it would definitely change the meta. Something like Byakko Dragoon would probably give Y-Bang Dragoon a run for its money, since Byakko would have good grooves and attack points. It also makes me wonder, what other synchromes would pair well with Byakko, and how would they do in our current meta? I want to hear you guys' opinions on that. Comment down below what you guys think how well Byakko would do in our current meta, because it always gets me thinking, you know, Wyvang is so overpowered, and a lot of these Beyblades, like Wyvang and even Garago or Genbull, that are good in the meta, they're so expensive to get nowadays. But Byakko was going to be a regular stock release. Damn, it would have been easily accessible, right? Kind of like Gyarados is, but I don't know. I feel like Byakko would have had some good attack power because of that upper attack, you know? But that's pretty much the video. I told you guys why Berserker Byakko wasn't released, and I don't know, some of you guys may not have even heard of this Beyblade or don't remember seeing it in the anime, and the ones that do, if you didn't know why it didn't get released, well, now you know. Seriously though, rest in peace to Berserker Byakko, for real. I really wish we were able to get this Beyblade, but that's pretty much the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you're updated every time I post to this channel. And that's pretty much it. Peace out, guys.